so I wanted to do a video today to answer the question, what about baby number 2? Ever since Emma was about 6 months old, I've been getting questions about what our plans are for baby number 2. Do we want more kids? How soon do we want more kids, and all those kind of things. And I know with Emma about to turn 1 in just a couple weeks that I'm going to be getting those questions more often. So I figured I would just do a video to address, what our plans are, where we are with that, so that, anybody who's curious, knows what's going on. So, baby number 2, that's a complicated situation. It's so much more than just the desire to have another child. Of course, my husband and I would love to have another baby. We would, if it was up to me, I would be pregnant right now. If there was no other situations or no other factors that played into it beyond the desire to have another child. But unfortunately, that's not how life works. You have to think and plan and be responsible before you add another child into your family. And so that's kind of where we're at with, our mindset of children, and that's where we've always been. We had always discussed wanting to have our kids about 2 years apart. My thought behind 2 years being a good age was, you get to really soak up and enjoy all the littleness of your first child's life, or your second child, wherever you are in your family planning, and really enjoy all the little stages without having to rush past it and be pregnant and, juggle a lot of things. And I know that some people love that, and that works for their family situation, but for us, that's what we kind of thought was a good option, was a minimum of 2 years. Their second birthday, they're on their way to potty training, and they're more toddler and independent, and I just think that that's a really good age. Yeah, I think that's a good age for introducing a sibling into the family. So with that being said, the next question that comes to a lot of people is, so are you going to start trying soon? But the answer to that is no. We are not going to be starting to try anytime soon. And by soon, I mean within the next 3 to maybe 6 months. And the reason behind that is there's a couple factors that I think there's probably, a lot that goes into it that's, personal for us, that I will share as honestly and as openly as I can with you guys without, getting too personal. So, baby number 2, introducing a second child into our family, there's a lot of things that go into that. So, the biggest thing, obviously, is having 2 babies in daycare. With me continuing to work and be a full-time mom, and I've mentioned this in previous vlogs, I work because our financial responsibilities require that I work. My work is, the money that I make at work is 50-50 with my husband. I mean, we contribute both equally to our family and our home life and, all the things that go into that. So working for me is not an option, really. It's something that is financially required for us to, stay in our home and have a life and not live on the street. So with having a second child, there's another thing to consider is at what point is it, not beneficial for me to work. And the cost involved in that, and, being able to put 2 kids in daycare, because that's probably where we're going to have to be. So that's a huge factor. Another thing that we have to consider is just simply the cost of having a second child. When I had Emma, my husband had a different job, and we had excellent insurance. That has since changed, and we do have a different insurance policy now than we had with Emma, and we would have to pay a significant amount of money, and by significant I mean, a couple grand out of our own pockets to pay the hospital expenses to have a second child. So, that's a huge consideration, to just be able to have that expense right off the bat just to have the child. So that also plays a huge factor into why we are, wanting to wait a little bit longer to start trying. And the last thing, I guess, would be the fact that we do have a smaller home. Currently, our home only has 2 bedrooms, so whenever we do have a second child, Emma will have to share with her sibling, which is absolutely doable and livable, and, that's kind of the least of our concerns. But eventually down the road, as your kids grow up and you have 2 kids with lots of toys and limited amount of space, that does play a factor into the family dynamic, and you know, so ideally we'd like to be able to sell our home and move into a bigger home, you know, within a couple, you know, at least 2 years after we have our, you know, our next child. So that's another reason that we're kind of, you know, okay with waiting a little bit longer to kind of push that out a little bit further. So what's the plan for baby number 2? It's a complicated situation. It's a complicated answer with a lot of facets that we have to consider and think about and plan for. And, you know, like I said, it's not just the desire to have a child. You know, for us, it would be entirely selfish of me and my husband to say, oh, let's just do it. Let's just have another baby and we'll just sort out all the financial stuff and all the, you know, problems later. We've never lived our life that way. Hey. Nor will we ever live our life that way. We've always been planners, and we've always wanted to do what's best for us as a married couple and us as a family. And now with having Emma, I would never want to be able to make a decision to cheat her out of something. And, you know, it's great that people have the option to have kids back to back right away without even thinking about it. But unfortunately, that's just not our situation. So we do, you know, plan to have another baby sooner rather than later, but as far as exactly when, we don't really know. Another question that I've gotten a lot is, are we going to do TTC vlogs for baby number 2? And the answer to that is no, we won't be doing TTC vlogs. The main and the biggest reason behind that is I have a lot of people who I know in real life who now follow our YouTube channel. Initially it wasn't that way, but for one reason or another they found our channel and follow us, and that's great and we love that. But with trying to conceive, I feel like that's a hugely, hugely personal thing. And if I didn't know anybody in real life, I wouldn't mind sharing that, which it sounds really weird, but you know, when you know people, then they're asking and they're curious and they want to know, and I just don't want to have that added pressure. When I was trying to get pregnant with Emma, it did take us a while. It took us, you know, about 9 months to get pregnant, and I feel like sharing that is wonderful, and I love that there's the support that comes with that on YouTube. But for us, I feel like it would just be too much. I know myself, and like I said, I know the fact that people watch us who know us in real life, follow us, and it's just not a route that I want to go. So I think, you know, after the fact, once I am pregnant with baby number 2, we'll definitely share the journey, and I'll recap it, but we won't be doing, you know, live, I guess you could say, TTC vlogs. So hopefully this answers everybody's questions about baby number 2. I'm sorry this is kind of all over the place. This little one is kind of fussy today because she's teething. So, of course, if you have any questions like usual, you can leave them below as a comment, and we'll see you guys next time. Say bye. You want to say bye, boo-boo? Can you smile and say bye? All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.